Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be going over how I modded my GMMK 2. So obviously the first thing that I did was take all of the keycaps off. Oh, and yeah, don't forget to unplug your keyboard before you begin. Quite an important step. So yeah, I just took all of those off. So here's the first one. Here's the last one. Woohoo, we're done with that. And then I just wanted to show how absolutely disgusting my keyboard was underneath. You know, I'm kind of horrified that I let it get this disgusting. So yeah, this is a PSA to clean your fucking keyboards, you freaks. And now we're gonna move on to taking out the switches. This actually took me a surprising amount of time to figure out how to do, but once I got going, it went pretty well. Here's a bent pin. I did bend this pin taking it out, but as you can see, I just bent it right back. Please don't look at my nails. Oh god, those are awful. But yeah, I just bent it back into place and it was fine. And here's me finishing up the switches. Woohoo, done with that. I did have to watch a video on how to take out the stabilizers. It was a lot more complicated than it should have been. I also, it took me quite a while to figure out how to use the switch opener. But once I got the first one down, it wasn't that hard. It was just very tedious. So here's the last one. So that's done. And you know, you gotta show off your big pile of stem, housing, and springs. So here's my big pile of mess. Then I bag lubed the switches because I'm lazy and I didn't want to hand lube every single one of them. So I just did 10 drops of oil into the bag and shook it up. These stabilizers did come pre-lubed, but as you can see, it's really chunky and absolutely disgusting. So we're just gonna not use that lube. So we're gonna take those apart and then we're just gonna clean them off because that pre-lube was really gross. Here I am lubing my first housing of the stabilizers. I did watch a video on this. The stabilizers still didn't come out as well as I hoped they would. Probably because it was my first time and I also didn't have all of the tools that the video recommended to completely overhaul these stabilizers. Probably the hardest part of this process was just getting the stabilizer back together because, you know, both orientations look very similar, so. And then it's actually time to lube the stabilizer itself, the wire of the stabilizer. So, you know, you just gotta get a big old glop of lube and lube up the stabilizer, and hopefully it won't look as chunky in a year as that other lube did, because that was really fucking gross. And then yeah, you just gotta put them back together. Like I said, this was probably the hardest part, mostly because it took more brain power than I thought it would, and I don't have very many brain cells, so. And then I put these stabilizers back in, and yes, that is Google Open showing which direction they go, because I also could not remember that, and I didn't even think about it when I took them out. So here's the first one going in. And here's the last one going in. And then, you know what, I did not work the stem holder right on this first stem. But yeah, we're gonna move on to lubing the switches. This was very tedious, but obviously this is the most important part of modding anything. I did buy some films as well, but I did not use them on this keyboard because I'm planning on building a custom keyboard in a couple weeks, and I want to use the films on that. So yeah, there's the last one going in. Woohoo! And then it was mostly just a matter of putting all of the caps back on. This entire process did take about 3.5 hours. I know this is like, we're only at like 5 minutes in, but this process did take about 3.5 hours. It took a lot longer than I intended it to. Also, I hope you do not have ADHD because this is awfully triggering, and like the caps lock button is literally upside down. Like, girl, get it together. We have all of our switches back in, and now it is time for everyone's favorite part, the sound test.